economy. No more breeder lasting. Revelation set. Eat once we grow once we eat. It is good for our economy.
Welcome once again to Agrobuzz, our weekly agricultural program right here on Durain's Coffee Break. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about cattle and the animal identification and traceability system. You remember that? Today, we're still talking about livestock, but those from the seas and the oceans. Jamaica has a new licensing system for our spiny lobster industry, and here to tell us more about those lobsters is the CEO of the Fisheries Division of the Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and the Fisheries, none other than Lieutenant Commander Paul Wright. Good morning to you. How's the morning?
I'm fine, thanks, Lorraine, and pleasant morning to you and your listeners.
Right, and welcome to Agrobuzz. First of all, I hear the Fisheries Division has a new headquarters. Do tell me exactly where it is located.
The new Fisheries Division head office is located at 2C Newport East, that's in Kingston 15. That's actually the former Livestock Association building. But this particular location is more comfortable for our staff as well as our customers. And it's centrally located. But critical is the fact that it actually provides us sufficient space to absorb the planned increased staff complement on passage of the new Fisheries Bill, which has been intended for some time, so we will have sufficient space to absorb those persons when they eventually come online.
I like the part about more employment. I like that, definitely. Now, what do you do at the Fisheries Division? What is the role of that division?
Well, the role of the Fisheries Division is primarily the development and conservation of the fishery. What that means is that we not only focus on the harvesting of our fishery products, but also the conservation, and to ensure we do the harvesting at a sustainable level that will have products for future generations to come. So that's the primary responsibility of the Fisheries Division in a nutshell.
All right, now let us turn to the spiny lobster. Are we in lobster season or we shouldn't be having it yet?
Yes, we are actually approaching the end of the lobster season. The 31st of this month will be the last day we were able to fish lobster for the 2016-2017 lobster season.
So if we need to eat lobster, we have to eat it now before the end of this month?
Yes, and ensure that the lobster that's being eaten is of the correct size. And our fishers also not be fishing our buried lobsters, and that's our lobsters that have eggs.
Okay, right.
And those two is all round. Those things are not restricted to the close season, that's all round. So ensure the lobster is of sufficient size and ensure that the catch doesn't have eggs.
So what is the sufficient size, please?
The official size is actually 3 inches in the cuspidity length. What that means is that that's from the eye of the lobster to the shell section just before you get to the tail.
Okay.
So it ought to be over 3 inches in length.
Okay. Well, why do we need to have a lobster season, though?
Well, firstly, when you say a lobster season, I would say where we need to have an open season and a closed season.
Yeah.
And the closed season is primarily when the species is primarily focused on during their breeding session during that time. And it's during the peak of the breeding season during the 1st of April to the end of June.
Okay.
What we try to do is to allow them the opportunity to reproduce, to revive their population.
Right. So you said up to the end of March till the end of June?
From the 1st of April, until the 30th of June, that's the closed season.
Okay. So now, outline to us the new licensing regime governing the spiny lobster industry right here in Jamaica.
Well, I'm very happy to have this opportunity to speak to the new lobster regime. Before we had a regime whereby it wasn't very development or investment friendly for a stakeholder. What I mean by that, the license before were only valid for 1 year, and it makes it very difficult for any proper investment to be made within the industry. And it also goes through for the valuation of their various assets was only valid for 1 year. there wasn't much of a proper consultative mechanism in place that would guide the licensing authority. And the process we had before was really granted on a systematic basis. It was more like a first come, first serve thing. And that now, in effect, is something similar to a barrier to entry for potential new investors. The new regime now have created a far more business-friendly environment. And what I mean by that is that now we've broken it down in a situation whereby the license is valid for 2 years. So what it means is that the investor can now plan better and know how to set his resources going forward. And it's the same thing for the valuation of his assets, whereby they'll be valid for 2 years. Secondly, we have also increased the number of categories from 2 to 4. And what that does is that those 2 additional categories have to do with the artisanal fisher. So basically what we have done is that we have created an environment whereby the artisanal fisher can get more bang and get greater involvement within the lobster fishery industry. So we have created a space for the small man to ensure that he can participate effectively. But one of the critical things, Doreen, that we want to stress on is the fact that the new regime places greater emphasis on tangible investment rather than in historical involvement. And also we have a systematic and evaluation criteria-based process. So it's far more transparent and equitable. And we have put a lot of effort to ensure that we make the licensing known if they're going to get a license and the number of licenses as early as the 15th of May. So what that does is that it gives them at least 7 clear weeks to plan before the season opens on the 1st of July. That is very important to our stakeholders.
Well, thank you very much, Lieutenant Commander Paul Wright, CEO of the Fisheries Division, and highlighting all the work that you do in the Fisheries Division. And once again, the closed lobster season at the end of this month, it ends from the 1st of April to the 30th of June, right?
Yes, that's correct.
All right, so just reminding that. So no more after that. So even
to remind our stakeholders that as of the 15th of October 2015, the fines have increased up to $3 million for breach of the Fisheries Industry Act. So we want to remind our stakeholders to ensure that they abide by the law and do not fish lobster outside of the closed season, or within the closed season. Don't fish it within the closed season. Don't go catching any buried lobster, and ensure we adhere to the size limitation.
All right. Thank you so much, Lieutenant Commander Paul Wright, CEO of the Fisheries Division. And of course, we must support our farmers, including our fish farmers, by eating what we grow and grow what we eat. For more information on the work of the Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries, please visit their website, www.moa.gov.jm, www.miic.gov.jm. You may also follow them on Twitter and like them on Facebook. And see you again next week on Agrobuzz.